I think it honestly might be a first round TKO win, but for Izzy Adesanya. I think Paulo's going to come in there way too aggressive. Hello, guys, and welcome back to the MMA Brothers podcast. My name is Daryl.
My name is Asher.
And we're talking the pre-fight for the Izzy Adesanya versus Paulo Costa. And we also got another title fight that night that is Dominic, the Demolition Man. What's this, the Devastator?
Devastator, yeah.
Versus the Polish Power, Polish Hammer, my boy Jan Blachowicz. Let's go. We're going to start off with the main card. That's what we cover. And Asher will take it away for you guys.
Yeah, so we're going to make our way from the bottom of the card up. So we'll start with the first fight on the main card, which is Hakeem Dawood. I don't know how to pronounce his name. But anyways, we got Dawodu. Hakeem Dawodu, the Nigerian, versus Zubaira. He's Canadian? I thought he was from Nigeria. Or at least he reps the Niger. I saw he reps the Nigerian flag, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's Canadian.
But anyways, he's Canadian. But he's fighting this guy named Zubaira Tukhugov. Some Russian dude with an MMA record of 19-4 and 1 no contest versus Hakeem Superman Body 11-1 and 1 L and 1 no contest, or 1 draw, whichever one it is. But I think they're both draws. Sorry. Anyways, Canadian versus Russian, same height pretty much, and reach advantage is on Hakeem's side. So Hakeem, he's a pretty strong guy. Like, he's got solid wrestling and he has KO power in both hands. And it seems like his opponent doesn't have as much power, but he may have more submission ability than Hakeem. So Hakeem has been looking pretty good. He is a prospect in the UFC. I'm going to be going with Hakeem just because I've seen more of his fights compared to Zubaira. So that's what I'm going with. Who you got?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know much about Zubaira. I've seen just was Hakeem on the Contender Series?
I think so. I think that's where he kind of made a name for himself.
I'm pretty sure that's where I found him. But I'm going with the Canadian. He's got a high TKO percentage. He only finishes 30% of his fight. Only 30% of his fights go to decision. Average fight time of 10 minutes. I'm probably expecting like a second round KO or TKO from Hakeem. I just think he's got the physicality to bring it to the fight. If I had to bet my guess on it, Zubaira is a wrestler because I think he's Russian. And there's something about Russians, majority of the time they give you the money. So if you're going to bet, I mean, I don't know. I got to go with my Canadian brother here, but I wouldn't be surprised if Zubaira and further backs it up is that he finishes 61% of his fights by decision, right? So I'm just going to go with Hakeem, most likely due to my Canadian bias. Canada get the dub. Let's go. Let's get it cracking.
Yep, we both got Hakeem for that one. So next one, we got Vieira versus Zubaira Eubanks. So Zubaira, she's also somebody that's had some hype in the UFC. And, she has an MMA record of 7-4. Yeah, I was going to say, did she fight recently?
Yeah, she just fought last weekend.
Yeah, so, and she won, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so anyway, she's facing Keitleen Vieira or Vieira. Brazilian versus an American. The Brazilian is much taller, so like 10 inches taller. So Eubanks is quite short, actually.
10 centimeters, not 10 inches, no?
Sorry, 10 centimeters. I didn't mean to say inches. But yeah, 10 inches would be a lot. But anyways.
I was about to say, wow.
Yeah, because I'm actually used to saying inches, but like now it's, centimeters because I'm over here. But anyways, looks like Eubanks kind of like either wins like a third of her fights by KO or just decision. She has no submission victories on her record, but with most Brazilians, as usual, you find a lot of submissions on their record. So this one's a little tough one because I don't really know who to pick because of the size difference and that submission percentage and her MMA record. I think she's 10-1. Yeah, 10-1. I don't know if I'm going to pick Eubanks for this one because even the ranking is telling me that, like, hey, man, it seems like Fenomeno is where I should be putting my money at. So I think I'm going to go with her. Who you got?
I got to go with Zubaira, man. I don't know. I've watched a few of her last fights, and she's a very wrestling heavy girl with a granite chin. Like I'm telling you, she got cracked in her last fight. And in the commentaries, like, yo, this is crazy. How has she not gotten dropped? Like, she bites down on her mouthpiece. If you want to stand there and trade, she'll do it. But her wrestling is very, very good. I don't know if her last opponent, and I forget her name, is Julia Avila. I think her name was. Phenomenal stand-up fighter. Throws a ridiculously high volume. Almost KO'd Sajara standing on the feet. Sajara just grabbed a hold of her, pinned her up against the cage, and took her down. Sajara's head coach, I think, is Mark Henry. So they've been working a lot on her stand-up because her wrestling is A1. So if Caitlin wants to have a prayer in this fight, keep it standing up, because when Sajara's top control is ridiculous. I think she's a very, very good wrestler. Pretty sure she's pretty young as well, so she has a very, very bright future. She said that she's really looking to get her first TKO win. I don't know if she said she wants a stoppage. Mark Henry wants her to get her first stoppage because she's usually a grind it out, like I'm going to wrestle you and take you down, hold you down, beat you up type of fighter. Mm-hmm. And Mark Henry wants her to get her first finish. So I'm going to go with Sajara Eubanks just because she's coming off a big win. Caitlin's original opponent got injured. And then after Sajara's win, I think it was the same night or the day after, Dana White offered her that fight and she accepted it. So I'm looking for Sajara to come out and make a huge statement. I think it's going to be a decision win for Sajara Eubanks. And it was just like she's going to take her down and beat her up the whole fight.
Yep. So I guess we were picking the opposites on this one, so we'll see who's right. So we're going to move on to the next one. We got France versus Royval. This, I think, is a flyweight fight. Brandon Royval. Mm-hmm. His nickname is Don't Blink versus Raw Dog. Oh, my God. What a terrible nickname. Raw Dog. Anyways, Brandon Royval.
All I know is Brandon either has a lot of STDs or he's got a lot of kids. That's all I
was going to say. Oh like my God, what a nickname. Wild Boy, I think we found an opponent for you, bro. If you want to join the UFC, you got to face Raw Dog first.
You trying to get a Wild Boy Raw Dog?
Yeah, don't get Raw Dog.
You got a girlfriend, man.
So yeah, we got Kai Kara France versus Brandon Royval. So I have seen Brandon Royval's fights. He's a guy that, he's a little aggressive fighter, and he can take a shot. Like, he has an MMA record of 11-4, and France has an MMA record of 21-8. France is actually not from France; he's from New Zealand, and Raw Dog, he is from America, so that kind of does make a little bit of sense. But yeah, if you go into like how they win, Royval, he has a lot of his fights won by decision, and it looks like France has the better KO power, but like Royval can win the fight many different ways, right? So he can win it by either by either submission or by KO. And yeah, the average fight time, I don't know what it is for France, but it is 8 minutes, which is quite short, actually. That's like within 2 rounds, he gets the job done on the majority of time. So I'm going to pick Royval for this one. Daryl, who you got?
I'm going to go with Kai Kara France. The reason being is that he trains out of New Zealand's city kickboxing gym with Eugene Behrman, Izzy, Volkanovski, all those guys in that area who train with city kickboxing. They're ridiculously good at stand-up. And Brandon Royval is a stand-up fighter. He does have a lot of submission victories, but as you know, the fight starts standing on the feet. And usually Brandon hurts the opponent and then capitalizes and then gets the sub. You know what I mean? Kai Kara has a lot of movement. I would relate it to Dominic. And he's consistently you know what I'm trying to say? Those hoppy fighters who are consistently moving back and forth, left and right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's always constantly moving, bobbing and weaving, and he's got really, really good hands, right? I just think that they figured out the secret remedy at city kickboxing. They have such a high win record with a lot of their fighters. I just think that they've probably figured out the perfect game plan against Royval. And Kai Kara is going to bring home the dub to city kickboxing with a TKO win, most likely in the second round. I would give it to Kai.
Yeah, I guess we're going the opposites with that one as well. Next fight we got is Dominic the Devastator Reyes versus Jan the Polish Hammer Blachowicz. Now it's number 1 versus number 3. Dominic Cruz. I'm just looking at his body, made me laugh. Dominic Reyes. Dominic Reyes. He's the unofficial champ, the uncrowned or the people's champ, because a lot of people thought he beat John Jones in his last fight. He's 12-1 or 13-0,
You
depending on the
missed me
person
with
you're
that
talking
noise,
to.
man.
So Jan is 26-8. He just beat Corey Anderson and Luke Rockhold in his last two fights. So Jan's been on the roll. I think he won his last fight before that one too. Can't remember who his third last opponent was, but yeah, Jan's on a roll. He's been begging for a title shot. He finally got his title shot. No, it's not against Jones, but it is against Reyes for the vacant title, because Jones gave up his belt to move up to heavyweight. So the title is vacant at 205. There will be a new champion, and I think it's going to be Dominic Reyes. I just don't think Jan has the skills to beat someone like Dominic, because Dominic is really explosive. He's more athletic than Jan. He's bigger than Jan, and maybe power-wise, like they're the same. But like Dominic Reyes does tend to like be slicker with his movement and his punches compared to Jan. So Dominic Reyes, as I said before, he has a high KO percentage at 58%. So more than half of his wins are by KO. And yeah, he can also win a couple of submissions. Jan is kind of all over the board. Average fight time shorter for Dominic Reyes. So I'm picking Reyes probably by TKO by the third round is what I got. Who you got?
This is such an interesting fight because Jan could turn the lights off at any time. Like if Dom makes one mistake, because I don't think Dom's faced a guy where the price to pay for like a mess up is you getting on the floor and knocked out. Like John's not gonna knock you out with one punch. John's an accumulation striker. Do you get what I mean?
Yep.
Like John's gonna pepper you with strikes and do it that way. With Dom, I think Dom should win, but I'm having a few reserves because Jan Blachowicz, every single time you count him out of a fight, he does something crazy like, oh crap. Because if he's able to close the distance on Dom and land one punch, Dom's going out. No one's been able to take Jan's power. Like a clean strike from Jan, you're going to sleep. So
Yeah.
if you're to ask me who I'm going to pick, I'm going to go with Dom Reyes. I think he's got every tool to beat Jan in terms of his quickness, his head movement. He's very tricky to get a hold of. Not even John could get a hold of him against the cage. So I'm going to go with Dominic Reyes, first round TKO.
Wow, first round. Yeah, Reyes has got the height advantage, he's got the reach advantage. Everything is in his favor, so he should win this fight. Um, but yes, we're gonna go to the final fight of the night. Israel Adesanya, the last style bender versus the eraser Paulo Costa, number 2 versus the champ. So he says he's from Nigeria, but he represents New Zealand. And Paulo Costa is Brazilian, 13-0 versus 19-0 Adesanya. Someone's always got to go. Adesanya is what is that? 7 inches taller, about 8 inches. Sorry, about 8 centimeters taller, not inches. And Adesanya also does have the reach advantage, which is about 9 centimeters, not inches. So yeah, everything looks to be in favor for Izzy. He's a taller fighter, he has a
Actually,
longer reach. What's up?
what math did you
Oh,
do there with the
19,
reach?
19, 19.
Oh
Sorry.
God! Oh God! Oh
Or no,
God!
no, no, no. Wait, not 19. My bad. That's 21, 21. There we go. I'm tired.
Let's
It's
go!
late night.
Let's go! Let's go!
Anyways, so it's 21 centimeter um advantage for Israel Adesanya. So in terms of how they get it done, Izzy gets it done mostly by KO or TKO. Paulo Costa, same thing. He only has one decision victory in his career, which is against Yoel Romero. Otherwise, all his other fights, he's won by KO. So,
But
and
how
one
does he
fight by
have
submission,
zero
sorry.
decision? But then how does he have
Yeah, the
zero
UFC
decisions?
website's a little bit. He has one submission victory and then I guess 12 because he's 13-0. One decision victory and then 11. Yeah, 11 KO or TKOs, then one decision. That would equal 13. So yeah, that's how Paulo Costa wins his fights, and his average fight time is only 5 minutes. So within a round, he usually dusts most of his opponents. And Izzy will dust you, but he'll do it over a longer period of time. So this is pretty much it in terms of the stats. Now, in terms of how the fight's gonna go, Israel Adesanya, he's had like an insane kickboxing record. His kickboxing record is like 74-2 or something. I can't remember what it was. Something nuts, right? And he's fought even at heavyweight when Izzy was literally fighting at 190. Like he was fighting people at heavyweight and he was knocking them out too in kickboxing. So don't tell me Israel Adesanya hasn't fought somebody with the power that Paulo Costa have. Maybe not the aggression, like somebody that comes as forward as Costa, and he also can take a punch, Costa. So not only is he super aggressive, he also is durable, but he does not have the gas tank to go 5 rounds. There's just no way. When I saw him fighting Romero and how gassed he was after two, there's just no way he's lasting five. So Costa is going in there to take Izzy's head off within the first 2 rounds. And in my opinion, I'm pretty sure Izzy is elusive enough to, miss most of the big shots and just jab Costa for the first 2 rounds. And then when it gets to round 3, 4, 5, then you're gonna see Izzy pick it up and say, "All right, bro, let's see what you got now." And then Costa won't have it for him, and then Izzy's gonna get it done. And then Paulo's O will be gone, and then Izzy will be at 20-0. That's what I think is gonna happen. What do you think?
I think that Izzy's going to get it done. I think everyone's caught up in the Paulo Costa hype train because of the way he fights. But this is the thing: styles make fights. If you're a guy like Paulo Costa who's going to come forward and think that I'm just going to take off this dude's head, Izzy's seen that. Izzy's fought that before. Izzy's fought heavy-handed people before. He's not an idiot. He's not going to engage you in distances where you're going to knock him out. Paulo doesn't have one punch knockout power. He's accumulation of punches knockout power. Do you get what I'm trying to say? People act like Paulo's turned the lights off of a guy with one hit. No, he's never has. So this illusion that Paulo's going to touch him once and he's going to be down, no. Gastelum cracked him. Yeah, Gastelum, I think, hits just as hard as Paulo Costa, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think Paulo's flaw is he throws a lot of hooks and a lot of heavy strikes early. Right? I think that's a flaw against Izzy because what Izzy's going to do, he has such a big reach advantage, he's going to keep him in kicking range. What are you going to do? You're going to charge at me? Do it. Look at what happened to Robert Whittaker. You know what I'm trying to say? Well, Whittaker tried to blitz him. He's like, okay, cool. I'm going to move out of range because I know that you're alligator armed, right? Relative to me. He's going to peel out of range and then clip him every single time. And what's going to happen? I think it honestly might be a first-round TKO win, but for Izzy Adesanya. I think Paulo's going to come in there way too aggressive. And he's either going to get Izzy cold or Izzy's going to knock him out the first round. I'm going to go with the first-round TKO win for Israel Adesanya. I just think that people don't understand and respect Izzy's stand-up. I'm like, yes, Paulo is the dominant, El Matador looking dude, and he looks like he's a bull, and he checks every single box for a fighter. But what we also don't understand, or the general media is not understanding, the people that are like not really big fans, is he's faced heavy-handed people. He doesn't engage with them. He made that mistake once with Kevin Gastelum, and he paid the price. You know what I'm trying to say? Keep him at kicking range. You're a kickboxer. If he wants to keep lunging in with strikes, you're gonna pay the price. Gastelum almost got finished. You know what I'm trying to say? It basically did, but the referee didn't call it. I think Izzy was a TKO win in round 5 with a few seconds left. I think it was a TKO win. So I just think that Izzy's gonna knock him out. Second round at the latest, Izzy's knocking him out because Paulo's aggressive nature is gonna leave him susceptible to getting hit. He even got dropped by Romero. You know what I'm trying to say? You always bobbing, leaving, boom, drop Paulo. So, like, I just think styles make fights, and it's not the worst matchup for Paulo, but it's one of the best matchups for Izzy because it's a stand-up fighter who's hand-heavy. You know what I'm trying to say? If Izzy was to have a kryptonite, it'd be a wrestler like Chimaev. Chimaev would be like Izzy's kryptonite because he's like, okay, he's good at stand-up and he's devastating in wrestling. So I think it's going to be first or second round win for Israel Adesanya.
Exactly. I don't know if I have it that soon, but I definitely have Izzy winning by TKO within the last 3 rounds of the fight, just because I know Costa won't be able to hang that deep into the fight. But that's what we got, guys. What do you think about our preview? Let us know. You can hit us up on Instagram, MMA Brothers Pod, and give us a like, a follow, subscribe, a like, a comment, share, whatever you can do. It'll be much appreciated. And we're looking forward to this fight. So they're back in Fight Island. There's going to be 5 straight weeks of events in Fight Island. I feel like the UFC hasn't missed a week of events since, like, God knows when. But it's been a roll. And there's another 5 straight weeks of events coming. And then, yeah, it's going to be some good stuff. But, yeah, that's pretty much it from me. Do you have anything else?
No, I don't got anything else to add. Obviously, guys, send us your opinions. Comment on this YouTube video. Comment on Spotify. Comment on Instagram. Wherever you guys would like to tell us your picks, let us know who you got winning. You got Dom. You got the Polish Hammer. You got Costa. You got Izzy. Let us know. And we love the engagement. Once again, reach out to MMA Brothers Pod on Instagram. And we love you guys. Thanks for listening. And we out.